I think at this level, yeah. I think at this level we let that slide, but he's missing a third rest in peace, but his deck is still 60. Okay, so basically he just registered a 14-card sideboard.
Either that or when he pulled it out right now, he misplaced one of them.
Mitch casting a Tarmogoyf. More than big enough to block any of these creatures.
Yep, it's a 3/4 right now.
And Brad responding with Eidolon. Decent creature in this matchup.
Yeah, it's going to make all of Mitch's pretty hard to cast and sometimes damaging spells even more damaging to himself. I do see a lightning bolt in his hand.
He probably just gets rid of Eidolon with that. Yep.
Yeah.
He's going to take 2 from the trigger. That's fine.
Getting aggressive with this Tarmogoyf. I'm not sure I agree with that. I mean, you're kind of on the back foot.
That's a big Tarmogoyf, though. You've got enchantment creature, instant, sorcery, land. So that's 5 damage he just took. So, like, that's a decent enough clock that I think I'm okay with.
And he did see his hand, his opponent's hand, and like, he knows.
That he knows he's light on spells, so just race.
Yeah. So we're going to suspend a Rift Bolt and maybe Skullcrack here. Just to try to get... No. I mean, I guess you could try to get in the extra 1 point that you're going to get in with the Swift Spear. But, and I don't think Jund typically has, like, ways to gain life in the main board.
They sideboard Collective Brutality.
Yeah, sideboard, but I mean main board. So, like, game 1, he's probably like, there's really no reason to hold this up.
Yeah, Jund definitely is not on main deck Collective Brutality.
He doesn't do it anyway. He
doesn't Spellcrack and he just gets in for 1? Okay, yep. Sure.
He just fetches and attacks for 1. And then Mitch responds by also fetching, getting a tapped Overgrown Tomb.
So Mitch falling down to 12. Still reasonably high life total. Has a 5 power attacker on the board and has a Liliana and a Fatal Push, so he has an answer to the creature.
Yep. I think he's gonna.
Oh yeah, John does play Scavenging Ooze. At most, you can prevent them from gaining 1 life with a Skullcrack. So like that's not super good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is like an important source of life gain to note. Yeah, so he's gonna try to be mana efficient here and cast a Liliana instead of playing the Fatal Push.
Yeah, that seems fine. Make up sack a dude, and then and on top of that, you're gonna make your opponent discard. Normally that'd be really good. Knowing Brad has a bunch of lands in his hand it's mediocre. Good old Tarma paper.
Yep. He's going to take another 5. Down to 9. Mitch took 3 in his upkeep, so he's at 6 now. And he has an Eidolon. He could steal this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible.
Yeah, because now he's in an awkward position where if he swings in with Tarmogoyf, he's left without a blocker, and he's going to take 2 from the Eidolon, plus an extra 2 from any spell he casts to try to get it off the table, and then any burn spell is lethal. So yeah, he's going to swing in here.
It's possible to just say, I'm going to attack in this turn, and then not play anything, and then on my next turn, I'm going to attack again, and you have to block it, or else you're dead.
Well, actually, since he does have the Fatal Push, even if Brad top decks a burn spell, he gets to cast it. Brad takes 2 to cast it. Mitch goes to 3, and since he has the Fatal Push, he just gets to kill it and untap. Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
There's nothing he really could have done there.
Yeah, it was a pretty close game.
All right.
All right, for over here, we got on Brad's sideboard, we have 2 Rest in Peace, 2 Core Firewalker, 2 Deflecting Palm, 2 Smash to Smithereens, 2 Path to Exile, 2 Searing Blood, and 2 Exquisite Firecraft. What do you like?
Path probably has to come in. You can't just let Tarmogoyf stonewall your entire ground attackers. You can make an argument for Rest in Peace. I probably wouldn't bring it in here. The only graveyard interaction he probably has is Tarmogoyf, which making your Tarmogoyfs 0-1s is not as good as just having Path to remove them. Although I did just see him set aside Rest in Peace, so maybe that's what he's...
Oh, it also does stop Scoos if he thinks that's Mitch playing to gain life.
Sure.
Because it's symmetrical, so he can't gain life off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so over on Mitch's side, a bunch of one-ofs. One of Grafdigger's Cage, one Damping Sphere, one Angrath the Flame Chained, one Ancient Grudge, one Engineered Explosives, 2 Surgical Extraction, 1 Huntmaster of the Fells, 2 Anger of the Gods, 2 Kitchen Fangs, 2 Fulminator Mage, and 1 Collective Brutality. It's a lot of cards.
Yeah, it's a lot of cards. Explosives is okay.
Yep.
Huntmaster's fine.
Yep.
Kitchen Finks is an auto-include, and Brutality is also an auto-include.
Yep.
Angrath is interesting. I don't think it comes in here. I'm just surprised to see that on my screen right now.
Mirror, maybe?
Yeah, that's a card that you definitely put in your deck if you want to say, I just need a big thing to slam in mid-range mirrors that I want to top deck.
Yeah, and then you get to like steal Tarmogoyfs and then sack them at a turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems good.
It's okay. It's kind of like how these decks are playing Nissa Vital Force. Just a big Planeswalker that's a huge threat that threatens to win the game on its own.
That's fair.
I don't know why you'd play Angrath over Nissa, to be honest. I don't know that it's any better, but I haven't tested it, to be fair. And being in Jund instead of green-black, where you see a lot of Nissa Vital Force in the board, means you have access to stuff like this.
It feels like the ability to, the plus ability to have your opponent discard, while it does deal damage as an upside, like by the time you cast him, having your main deck be so much full of discard spells, you're not really getting anything out of your opponent's hand. It's probably empty.
Well, the other problem is you're not you're boarding out your discard most game twos in mid-range mirrors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're boarding out your discard and then boarding in Angrath, your plus just isn't really doing anything, because the whole point of boarding out discard in mid-range mirrors is that you're going to be in a top deck war.
Yeah. And
you don't want to be drawing dead.
Right.
And Angrath effectively becomes drawing dead if they have no board, because it just reads shock my opponent every turn, which honestly might be okay.
Yeah, and then eventually you get to the ultimate, and then you're just like, all right, I'll ult and deal you like 15 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems okay. It's not like the best, but it's fine. All right, we're gonna get back to the games here. Brad deciding to take a mulligan, and I believe Mitch is keeping on 7.
Yeah, looking for Mitch to have a hand of like discard spell on 1, Tarmogoyf on 2, Liliana on 3. Brad is definitely
preferably with a bunch of basics.
Yeah, Brad's definitely looking for a more spell heavy hand than last game. Last game, he just didn't interact enough.
Right. It looks like he has a great hand. 2 lands and then spells and an Eidolon.
No 1-drops in this hand, though.
Yeah.
So
you take what you can get.
Yeah, he is in the play, so that's beneficial to him. But you definitely don't want to be doing turn 1 tapped Sacred Foundry too much as burn.
Yeah.
He does have, like, arguably his best turn 2 play in Eidolon. So now Mitch has to probably fetch shock himself here, plus cast this lightning bolt to take another 2 damage, so he just lava axed himself to get rid of a 2-drop, which seems decent.
No.
Okay, so no, he's just gonna not shock.
Yep. And
just play it slow.
Which seems fine. You don't want to give the burn player any more velocity than you have to.
Yeah, that's fair. And also, he could just well, you could just play a 2-drop next turn as a blocker.
If he just plays like a Tarmogoyf here, it's like, well, it might not block right away, and like the next turn it's going to be big enough.
Okay, he's just going to bolt it now. That's fine. Only taking 2 damage from the Eidolon, and not taking damage from his lands because he has the Black Leaf Cliffs. And just going to have land go from Brad. That's pretty good here.
Yeah. I believe his hand has nothing that targets. It's all like player, so it can't hit Liliana right now.
I believe Skullcrack can, right? After the errata.
I'm not sure.
He's gonna Boros Charm him though. Honestly, even a Skullcrack could hit Liliana, which I believe it does.
Not enough.
You wouldn't throw that at her.
Yeah.
You'd definitely just try to go at your opponent's face and ignore Liliana. Plays another land here.
I think if Mitch is smart and pluses first, yep, here you go. We're going to give it to the Searing Blaze. So it'll be like waste. Oh no, gets rid of the Skullcrack.
Yeah, he probably wants to keep Searing Blaze around for when Mitch plays a creature like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of awkward that he discarded Skullcrack when Kitchen Finks was the follow-up. That's probably not what he wanted to see.
Yeah, but I mean, either way, he would have had to do something. Oh, he didn't play the Searing Blaze at end of turn, which is a little odd.
Should have just kept the land in hand.
Well, he had fetch lands. He has 2 fetch lands on the battlefield.
Yeah, he has 2 fetch lands in play. I don't see what the point of keeping the land in his hand is.
Yeah.
Because he kept... no, because he plussed the Liliana twice.
Yeah.
And the first time he plussed it, there was land, Searing Blaze, Boros Charm in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And he cast Boros Charm in response and pitched the land. But then okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because he top decked an Arid Mesa next turn.
Mm-hmm.
So what he's saying is he should have sandbagged the Arid Mesa in his hand and kept it to discard to Lily. And yeah, that's correct, definitely. Yeah. Brad gonna Searing Blaze, triggering
Finks,
and then
which is net 0, right? Because Searing Blaze deals him 3, and then he gains 3 on my life back.
Kitchen Finks gains 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's not 1. But then Mitch just untaps and casts 2 huge threats and has a Liliana ultimate coming. And Brad is just here top decking. Yeah.
Yeah. Seems like Burn just ran out of velocity too quick.
Yep. And that's a 6/7.
That is a big boy.
Because there is an Eidolon in the graveyard.
Yep. What's the biggest a Termaglyph can get? A 7/8?
Yeah. No, it can be an 8/9. You can have a tribal. There's no planeswalker and there's no tribal in the graveyard right now.
Okay. No, there is. There's a Lily in the graveyard.
Oh, okay.
You already discarded it.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage.
Dang. You know what they need to make in the next set, or the next couple sets? A new card type.
A new card type?
Yep, just make Tarmogoyf even bigger.
Yeah.